Your dog just licked you. Maybe it was your hand when you walked through the door. Maybe it was your face while you were relaxing on the couch. Or maybe they woke you up this morning before your alarm even had a chance to ring. Most people see this behavior and immediately think the same thing. My dog is giving me kisses. But what if that's only a small part of the story? What if that simple lick has a completely different meaning depending on when it happens, where it happens, and what your dog is feeling at that exact moment? The truth is, licking is one of the most misunderstood behaviors in the canine world. To humans, it often looks like a simple act of affection, but to dogs, it's a form of communication that can carry several different messages, and some of those messages might surprise you. Let's start with the meaning most dog owners already know: affection. Yes, dogs often lick people they love and trust, but it's not exactly the same as a human kiss. To understand why dogs do this, we need to go back to the very beginning of their lives. When puppies enter the world, they depend entirely on their mother. Long before they understand their surroundings, they experience her care through touch. One of the first things a mother dog does is gently lick her puppies. This helps clean them, stimulate important body functions, and provide comfort during their earliest moments of life. Over time, licking becomes associated with safety, care, and connection. That's why many adult dogs continue to use licking as a social behavior throughout their lives. When your dog gives you a few slow, relaxed licks while lying beside you, they're often expressing trust and comfort. In their own way, they're reinforcing the bond they share with you. It's less like saying I love you and more like saying I feel safe with you. You're part of my world. Everything feels okay right now. But affection isn't the only reason dogs lick. Have you ever noticed that some dogs immediately start licking your hands when you come home after being away for several hours? Most people assume it's excitement. And while excitement can play a role, there's something else happening too. Your dog experiences the world primarily through scent. Throughout the day, your hands collect traces of everywhere you've been, places, people, objects, and environments your dog has never encountered. When they lick your hands after you've been gone, they're not just greeting you, they're gathering information. It's almost like they're reading the story of your day through the scents left behind on your skin. To your dog, every lick is helping answer a question. Where have you been? What did you encounter? What's changed since I last saw you? And believe it or not, the meanings become even more fascinating from here, because we'll reveal why some licks have nothing to do with affection at all, and how your dog may actually be using them to handle stress, avoid conflict, or communicate discomfort. What your dog is really saying might be completely different from what you've always assumed. We discovered that licking isn't always a doggy kiss. Sometimes it's about trust, comfort, or even gathering information about where you've been. But now we're getting into the meanings that most dog owners never notice. Because sometimes a dog licks you for a reason that has nothing to do with affection. Imagine you're hugging your dog tightly. Maybe you're leaning over them, trying to cuddle them, or speaking in a slightly frustrated tone after they've done something wrong. Suddenly, your dog reaches out and gives your hand a quick lick. Most people instantly think, "Aw, they're being sweet." But in some situations, that's not what the dog is saying at all. Dogs are experts at avoiding conflict. In social situations, they often use small behaviors to keep interactions calm and peaceful. Trainers and behavior specialists sometimes refer to these actions as calming or appeasement signals. A lick can be one of those signals. Instead of saying, "I love this," your dog may actually be saying, "Let's keep things friendly. I don't want any trouble. I'm feeling a little uncomfortable right now." That's why context matters so much. A relaxed dog with a loose body, soft eyes, and a wagging tail is sending a very different message than a dog with pinned back ears, a stiff posture, or a lowered head. The lick might look the same, but the meaning can be completely different. And that's a mistake many owners make. They focus on the lick itself and ignore everything else their dog's body is saying. But dogs don't communicate with just one signal. They communicate with their entire body. Now, here's another reason your dog might be licking you. Sometimes they're not trying to comfort you. They're trying to comfort themselves. Think about situations that make dogs uncertain. Guests arrive at the house. A loud noise comes from outside. A new environment feels unfamiliar. Or maybe your dog sees you picking up your keys and isn't sure whether you're about to leave. In moments like these, some dogs begin licking. Not because they're excited, not because they're especially happy, but because the action itself helps them cope with their emotions. Your scent is familiar. Your presence is reassuring. And licking can become a way for your dog to settle their nerves when they're feeling overwhelmed. It's similar to how people might tap their fingers, pace around a room, or play with an object when they're nervous. The behavior provides comfort. That's why a dog that suddenly starts licking your hand during a stressful moment may actually be looking for reassurance rather than expressing affection. And now we're about to get to the most surprising part of all. Because where your dog chooses to lick can reveal clues that many owners completely miss. A face lick doesn't always mean the same thing as a hand lick. And when a dog becomes focused on one specific spot over and over again, it can sometimes signal something far more important than simple affection. We'll uncover the hidden messages behind targeted licking, the warning signs you should never ignore, and why excessive licking can sometimes be your dog's way of telling you that something isn't right. And trust me, the final reason may change the way you interpret your dog's behavior forever. So far, we've learned that licking can mean trust, curiosity, reassurance, or even an attempt to avoid conflict. But there's one final reason dogs lick that every owner should understand. Because sometimes a lick isn't just communication. Sometimes it's information. And if you know how to recognize it, your dog may be telling you something important. Let's start with where the licking happens. Not all licks carry the same message. When your dog licks your face, it's often connected to social bonding and emotional attachment. These licks commonly happen during greetings, after time apart, or during moments when your dog feels especially connected to you. Hand licking is usually different. Your hands carry the strongest collection of scents from your daily activities. They've touched door handles, clothing, food, other people, and countless objects throughout the day. For a dog, your hands are like a source of updates about the world outside their home. But what happens when your dog becomes obsessed with one specific spot? Maybe it's the same area on your arm. Maybe it's a certain place on your leg. Maybe they've ignored it for years, and suddenly they can't stop returning to it. That's when it's worth paying attention. Dogs possess an extraordinary sense of smell far more powerful than our own. Because of this, they can detect subtle changes that humans often miss. Now, this doesn't mean every focused lick is a medical alert. There can be many harmless explanations. But if the behavior is unusual, persistent, and completely new, it may deserve a closer look. And that brings us to the biggest misconception of all. Many people believe all licking is a harmless habit, but excessive licking can sometimes be a sign that something isn't right. For example, if your dog repeatedly licks the floor, furniture, walls, the air, or their own body for long periods, it could indicate an underlying issue. In some cases, dogs lick excessively because of skin irritation, allergies, digestive discomfort, dental problems, or ongoing stress and anxiety. The licking action can provide temporary relief, which is why the behavior may repeat again and again. Unfortunately, many owners dismiss it as a strange personality quirk, but when licking becomes repetitive, obsessive, or difficult to interrupt, your dog may be trying to communicate discomfort in the only way they know how. The key isn't looking at a single lick. The key is looking at patterns. A few gentle licks while resting beside you tell one story. A dog that spends hours licking the same object, surface, or body part may be telling a very different story. The next time your dog licks you, don't immediately assume you know what it means. Watch their body language. Pay attention to the situation. Notice what happened just before the licking started, because every lick is part of a conversation, and the more you understand that conversation, the better you'll understand your dog. Now we'd love to hear from you. What type of licker is your dog? Do they greet you with licks when you come home, or do they seem determined to lick absolutely everything they can reach? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into dog behavior. Because the better you understand your dog, the stronger your bond becomes, and there are still many secrets about our four-legged friends waiting to be uncovered.